on your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
And this one belongs to the Razorbacks.
Streaming live from
HitThatLine.com.
Fans are amazing. It is lit down here on the sideline.
This is Halftime with Phil Elson, Matty T, and Drew Barrett.
My calculations are correct. When this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're going to see some serious...
Here come the students. Oh, here come the students. They're coming from the south end, and this one has been a long time brewing.
I have been waiting for this moment for a long time.
Judging by the sound of it, so has everyone else.
Hey, hold on. It's almost halftime.
All right, we're kind of in that period here of the football season where it's still football season, but you get a bit of a 2-week lull going on here with Arkansas taking on UAPB Saturday in Little Rock, and then the bye week. You're out of conference play. You're out of FBS play. The line on the last time I saw a line on the game, I saw one yesterday. It was like, 51.5-point favorite, Arkansas?
Yeah, those are all offshore accounts. You're not getting anything from Caesars, FanDuel.
Yeah, they don't do the American books don't do the FBS FCS matchups.
No, so if you do the offshore stuff, better really trust your bookie or whatever site you're using.
Yeah, so it is one of those games where you feel like the outcome is already decided. Although Sam Pittman did say some nice things about UAPB and their football team that we'll get into later on, which includes a term that Coach Pittman used to describe what he expects this football game to be, that I just don't see how he honestly can expect this football game to be the word that he used to
I think he
describe
misused it. I don't think – right? There's no way he could actually think that that's how this game is going to evolve and ultimately end up happening. So it had to be a misuse of words.
Well, he wasn't even sure what the word was.
Yeah. Or that it was a real word.
To it here. Or, yeah, that's exactly right. He didn't know this was a real word. We might as well play it now because we've already brought it up. Mm-hmm. And, there's a lot to get into. Punishments for Tennessee. SEC finally figuring out you can, a few days after a game, use cameras to figure out whether people did things incorrectly. But we're not going to do that for the guys wearing the black and white. You got the preseason polls coming out for basketball. The men's polls came out yesterday. Arkansas ranked 16th. The women's poll will come out. I think it just came out, so we'll have to check on that in just a little bit. And Washington State will be looking for a new football coach, and we'll get into that stuff later on as well. Nate Olson joins us, bottom of this hour, digging into high school football. And in the second hour, Connor O'Gara is with us for his usual weekly hit. So, yeah, and I love hearing some of the terms that get thrown around for certain ways of the way you expect the game to turn out. Mm-hmm. Here's Sam Pittman on what he expects the game to be against Pine Bluff, and he also says that Pine Bluff does a lot of things.
We're going in like it's going to be a barn burner, and I don't even know if that's a word, but
it is. It is a word.
I've heard that phrase before.
It is a word.
We're going in like it's going to be a really competitive game. They do so many things. I mean, they play two quarterbacks. They try to block every single punt, which you guys know is scary. I don't know. They play hard. They play really hard. They've had some injuries that's hurt them. They've got some speed, and they went to the championship game in the spring, and they just have lost some games here this year. But Doc will have them ready, I'm positive.
First nice thing he said about them is they do a lot of things. I'm not exactly sure what that means.
Are those good things? He never said they do a lot of good things.
It's a lot of things.
I can do a lot of things, but it doesn't necessarily mean they're all good.
And now that I'm thinking about it, barn burner is not really a word. It's more of an expression. It's two words.
No, right. it's a real word, Matty.
But
it's in the dictionary.
As one word, no spaces, continuous letters.
So I do have
That's what makes a word.
I do have the link to it. It's
not like school
bus.
Two
words next to each other, but it is still in the Merriam-Webster dictionary, which for me makes it official. And it is a real word, though I don't think it's exactly the way that Coach Pittman
Can we call it a real phrase?
See how we are as Razorback fans. We lose 3 games and we start questioning everything.
I know.
Yeah, like the English language.
Yep.
That's exactly right. What is a barn burner exactly? A barn burner says The definition is one that arouses much interest or excitement.
Well, apparently from Phil's definition, in Kansas, they do it a little bit different, but we don't have to get into that.
Well,
thanks for the nightmares.
Yeah, you'll find that one
to Google it.
The Urban Dictionary.
The odd thing is about the Urban Dictionary definition, I think is better than the real definition.
Of which one? The Kansas
the
version or the actual version?
No, not the one involving Kansas. The one that's at the very bottom of the page on Urban Dictionary. That's one of the things about
Family show. Let's keep it clean.
Urban Dictionary. The kids aren't listening right now. They're in school. They're not listening. If they're listening to us right now, then they shouldn't.
There could be a kid on a doctor's appointment, or he's got to get his braces fixed, or something.
I didn't bring up this other.
Maddie.
Term.
Yeah, who did that?
I didn't bring that up.
Keep it clean for the children.
I'm just letting you know that I like Urban Dictionary definitions for real things.
Mm-hmm.
I do have some definitions that I've published on that website. They've been totally clean. But not everything. Urban Dictionary is known for certain definitions of certain things.
Did you just say you've published your own definitions?
I got 6.
Are you telling me you've contributed to Urban Dictionary?
6 definitions.
They're all clean. Do you also write Wikipedia too?
I've never done a Wikipedia entry.
Does Phil have a verified account on Urban Dictionary?
I'm sure. I bet he does.
He's got a star by his name.
Well, I have a name of a company that I put out there for the name of my definitions. I don't even exactly remember what this was called, to be honest. This was like a year ago. Crotch angle definitions. I think that's what it was. I think I had a little fun with it. But you never know what you're going to do at like 11 o'clock, 11:30 at night, and you've called a game, and you can't go to sleep. Just start putting together some Urban Dictionary definitions, which I like the one on Urban Dictionary for barn burner more than I do the real definition. And then of course, there's about 10 other definitions of
the real one
of barn burner on Urban Dictionary that I can't get into on this show. But the one I can says an exciting sports match that is competitive to the very end. Anytime you throw the word match out there, that makes me think you're European. So I think that one describes it. The Arkansas-Mississippi game was a barn burner, right?
It was, yes.
Right? 103 points, 1,287 yards, 163 plays, and the game wasn't even decided when you had quad zeros at the end of the fourth quarter. That's a barn burner. I expect the UAPB game to not be anything like that.
There will be no burning of the barn.
What would be the proper terminology to describe something that's totally one-sided, other than just calling it one-sided? A blowout.
Blowout.
You know, now you could type that into an Urban Dictionary search, and I'm sure there's going to be a number of other definitions along with the sports one right there for you.
That was a John Travolta movie from the 80s.
Really?
Huh.
And then there's slobber knocker, which is the term that we've thrown around on the pregame show a few times. Gino loves the term slobber knocker, and my favorite Urban Dictionary definition of that is in football, a good hard hit where you can see spit fly from the helmet. I mean, Gino's even brought up the idea of snot bubbles on the football broadcast before, so he's into the slobber knocker thing. There's not going to be a barn burner, and there's going to be one team knocking the slobber out of another on Saturday at War Memorial Stadium, and it's not going to be pretty, but I still think it's going to be fun. You want to know one of the reasons it's going to be a lot of fun?
Why, Phil? Why
Get
is it
a
going to be
chance
fun?
to see the UAPB band
I'm
perform at
excited
halftime.
about that.
I don't care about college bands, to be honest. It's not a thing that I've ever
I do
really
with bands
gotten
that
into.
actually care.
So what is it about the Pine Bluff band that's so great?
From everything I know, they are a heck of a lot more entertaining than the football team. And that says maybe a little bit about both aspects of what we're talking about here. But they're known as one of the more entertaining bands in the country. A lot of the bands out of the SWAC are Southern. You know, I mean, they kind of have battle of the bands at halftime. When halftime comes at a college football game, I don't look at the field. There's no reason to. This next Saturday at War Memorial, I'm going to watch this halftime show because I think it's going to be I think it'll be entertaining to watch the Razorbacks run up and down the field with the football and nobody touching them because I kind of expect that. I still think halftime may be more suspenseful than the game.
It always is. I mean, when you get the chance to go and see the HBCU bands and get to know that the culture of what it is about the bands and why they are a lot of times more popular than the actual football game. It's so entertaining, and they do such a great job of it. I mean, I can't tell you, I've never seen a bad HBCU band. Like, they take so much. It's a real sense of pride for that university at all of them.
Sorry, I'm answering a text.
I was about to say, any response there, Philly? Do you just want dead air to happen and, act like what I just said was total nonsense and didn't deserve a response. Okay.
No, I got a little upset looking at a text that we got from a listener here. And it goes to one of the other topics that came out, early here about punishments for Tennessee for the embarrassment at the end of the game against Mississippi. Mm-hmm. Please don't defend the Tennessee fans. Please don't.
Oh,
don't
shit.
applaud the Tennessee fans for standing up against you. They acted like a bunch of spoiled crybabies.
That made the whole school look bad.
Don't stand up for a bunch of people that look like total schmucks.
The whole state, actually.
I don't live there anymore.
Except for Memphis.
Yeah. Memphis is its own different state anyways. But he just did the one thing that I said yesterday on 3 Up, 3 Down that no one ever says. No one ever goes, yeah, you get him. You tell him. You throw mustard bottles and golf balls at people. You act indecent in high society. You go against the grain. Look at you go. Start the revolution. Nobody says that. Nobody cares. You look stupid.
You want to stand there and boo the referees. You want to scream at them. You want to call them a bunch of names. You want to, make mock threats or whatever from 250 feet away, whatever.
You throw stuff, that's called assault, brother.
Yeah, and the mustard's already free at the game. You just can get it at the concession stands. You don't have to
tell
mustard.
Lane Kiffin that he needs mustard.
Yeah.
And putting your own fans in danger like this, there's absolutely nothing to applaud.
See, that's another thing. People that, especially that aren't close to the field that start throwing, you have no idea. A lot of them, they're in the stands for a reason. They don't have the greatest of arms. They're not the most athletic people of all time. A lot, especially I see it in baseball a lot where stuff starts to get thrown from the upper decks. They don't have the arm to make it to the field. So they're not only throwing stuff and looking stupid, they're putting their own, I guess, quote unquote, fans in harm's danger, right? Because you don't know who's down there. You don't know if there's a child down there.
All the cheerleaders
or an
there,
elderly lady.
The cheerleaders had to be rushed off.
Exactly. I mean,
it's a matter
hurting
sometimes
people.
of, there's a problem. There's a little vein of this running through society that also digs into sports. People don't know how to take the L. Even when you might not have deserved the L, you take the L.
All they did was
with
delay
class.
it. They still got the L, too.
Yeah, they just had to wait 20 extra minutes.
Yeah, exactly. You just delayed it.
I would be absolutely embarrassed. I would admonish Razorback fans if that's what they did, and you've had the opportunity.
Never defend them.
You have had the opportunity because you've been screwed in many ways, and I know you felt the same way about the Auburn game. It's not the reason Arkansas lost, but I feel the frustration of Razorback fans because of the poor officiating that you've had to deal with. That's gone against you in many ways, but the moment anything leaves, as a physical object leaves the stands and heads down to the field, all bets are off. Do not defend schmucks that throw crap out of stands towards people on the field because you end up endangering everybody in the stadium at the same time.
And we've seen examples of children getting hurt. Not only with throwing stuff, but when fans get in fights in stadiums. I think it was San Diego and L.A. earlier this year. I think a kid got knocked to the ground during a fight, and kids were around crying and panicking because they have no idea why these bunch of adults are acting like stupid children when they should be the adults. And when you start throwing stuff and you start fights in stands, you look as stupid as the act that you're doing, and it has no place in society or in sports. I know that people are very passionate about sports. I am too. That's why I'm in this job. But I would never, ever take it to that point. Ever.
It's two ends of the same conversation that don't belong in the same conversation. A reaction to poor officiating, you got to separate this. The poor officiating, yes, the SEC's got to figure out a way for these officials to not have their heads stuck up their rear ends.
So does every other league. Every other league complains the same amount. Everybody thinks the refs hate them.
There are ways to act properly, even when you're not happy with the outcome. Arkansas fans have handled it pretty well. Have a letter writing campaign. Get on Twitter. Voice your anger. Do it the way that everybody else seems to do it now. Don't throw stuff on the field.
Don't.
All right, 877-377-6963. We'll come right back.
every Razorback football game.
College to midfield, the 40, the 30, College at the 20, to the 10, to the 5, to the pylon. Touchdown, Arkansas!
As you can tell, this means
Back and better than ever. All eyes are on the gridiron as teams are back for another football season. As always, BetOnline is your #1 spot for all the pro and college football action this season. With the new updated site and interface, even more odds, props, and contests, BetOnline continues to be the #1 source for everything football. Head to your website or use your mobile device to sign up today and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Don't forget to use our promo code BELIEVE to receive your bonus. That's BLEAV. From football, basketball, boxing, right to your favorite Vegas casino games. Don't wait to take advantage of these amazing offers for the 2021 season. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite sports. BetOnline, where the game starts.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
Now that's a dandy white perch.
Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse.
Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
Do you know the difference between admission and confession? Admission is acknowledging the truth of something. Confession is a formal statement agreeing that you're guilty. Greg Allman admitted he's no angel, but that doesn't mean he confessed his guilt before God. Romans 10:10 says, heart one believes and is justified, and with the mouth one confesses and is saved. Confess to God that Jesus died in your guilty place, and then you'll receive His amazing grace. I'm Pastor Heath from Woodland. Pray about it.
The Game Day Lodge in Branson is the perfect place for corporate retreats, golf trips, and team building activities. You'll find 10 bedrooms with 19 beds for up to 28 guests, 9 bathrooms, 17 TVs, poker table, 2 kitchens, 2 laundry rooms, a fire pit, 2 gas grills, outdoor basketball court, a heated indoor swimming pool nearby, and a 10-minute drive to Silver Dollar City. Not to mention near some of the best golf courses. Just search Game Day Lodge on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Airbnb, and VRBO. We're back and better than ever. All eyes are on the gridiron as teams are back for another football season. As always, BetOnline is your #1 spot for all the pro and college football action this season. With the new updated site and interface, even more odds, props, and contests, BetOnline continues to be the #1 source for everything football. Head to your website or use your mobile device to sign up today and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your
to fit your budget so you can leave with a peace of mind knowing that you are getting a quality, well-maintained vehicle. Come see the team at Carco Auto Sales, formerly Hertz Car Sales, at 2810 Midland Boulevard today. Give them a call at 783-1722 or check them out at buyfromcarco.com. Carco Auto Sales, when you're ready.
This is ESPN 95.3. Need a little bit more halftime in your life? Make sure to download the Eastside Liquor Halftime Podcast. Eastside Liquor in Fort Smith has the best deals in the River Valley on liquor, beer, and wine. Stop by 9390 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith and make sure to check out their Facebook page for weekly specials. The Eastside Liquor Halftime Podcast is part of the Hit That Line Podcast Network and is available wherever you listen to podcasts.
I don't think we're getting Dominique Johnson the ball enough. You know, every time he seems to run the football, good things happen. He probably got to double his load, what we've been giving him, and because he's proven that he's a really good player. Now, with that said, someone's going to lose carries, you know, and that's fine. when you give reps, you give them so you can see what the kids are able to do. And then when you're in Game 7, you've probably seen it. And now there needs to be a little bit more of an order of this guy gets this many carries, this one gets that. Before, it was kind of that way, but then you're dividing them by 4. I think the division's got to come maybe a little closer to 3, 2.5.
The division's already kind of come by 3 for this group of running backs right now. As you hear Sam Pittman talk about wanting to get sophomore running back Dominique Johnson flat out more carries. He did get the start against Auburn. Coach Pittman wouldn't expound upon the reasons that he got the start, but I think there might have been something that didn't involve Dominique, that involved perhaps Traylon Smith, the reason that Traylon did not start. But Dominique Johnson's an interesting case here, very interesting case, because the trio of Traylon Smith, Rocket Sanders, and KJ Jefferson are accounting for 70% of Arkansas's total carries. This is a run-heavy offense. It's about 2-to-1 run-to-pass ratio right now in this Kendall Briles offense. Traylon Smith getting exactly 25% of the carries. KJ Jefferson gets just under 24% of the carries. Rocket Sanders, who's seen his load grow big time the last couple of weeks, is getting 21.3% of the carries. Sanders has seen his number of carries increase by more than twofold over the last 2 weeks. Smith has lost 1 carry per game over the past 2 weeks. KJ Jefferson is carrying it more than 2 times as much as he had in the first 5 games. But Dominique Johnson has actually carried the ball fewer times per game than he did in the first 5. He leads the team, Drew, in yards per carry, 6.6 yards per carry for Johnson. He has scored 4 touchdowns on 33 rushing attempts. That ties him with Traylon Smith. So
I would have guessed it had been Rocket Sanders who would be the guy who leads in yards per carry.
And and Rocket Sanders right now 5.5 yards per carry. That puts him behind Dominique Johnson, second on the team. That's right. So, but you could hear there from Coach Pittman, if Dominique Johnson gets a few more carries, somebody's going to lose some carries as well. And I wonder about how the running backs factor in the passing game for how many snaps we might see things change a little bit. They go into 5 wides, not necessarily 5 wides. You empty the set, and sometimes the running back goes, as far on the edge of the field as possible. We've seen Traylon Smith line up there. We've seen Dominique Johnson line up there. Same with Rocket Sanders. Sanders played wide receiver in high school.
Yes.
His hands are pretty good. And Dominique Johnson he's caught 3 passes the last 2 weeks. And they haven't just been a little dink and dunk. Traylon Smith, we haven't seen necessarily be utilized that often in the passing game. He's only caught 2 passes. So I wonder, A.J. Green hasn't been utilized all that much, but still he's gotten more carries per game than Dominique Johnson has. So for someone that is and this isn't the first week, Drew, that Coach Pittman has said, I want to get Dominique Johnson more carries. He only got 6 carries out of a start last week, but ran for 42 yards. He seems to be really good inside the red zone.
So what's the reason of him not getting those carries? Is
I
it
don't
conditioning on Dominique Johnson's part? Is it rotation and the running backs coach not, I guess, grabbing him first? I mean, if you constantly say you want to get him carries, but it's not translating into actual carries of running the ball, then what's the problem?
It sounds like a conversation between Sam Pittman and Kendall Briles. And this is one of the issues of having such a good group of running backs. Sometimes do you want to feel like you want to establish one guy or 2 guys? But Arkansas has got 5 guys when you count KJ Jefferson. 5 guys that you want to feed the ball to. All of them do things a little bit differently, but who's the more or the most complete back? And I think when you've watched how Dominique Johnson has handled blocking, he's picked up the blitz a few times. He's delivered some pretty hefty blocks. He's got moves. He's faster than you think for somebody of his size. He's got heft. He might be right now the most complete running back in the room. I think Rocket Sanders will get there, but I think the ability to block in the passing game right now, it's his first year playing this position. I know we got Cody on hold here, then we got to take the break, so let's get to the phone here. Cody, good to talk to you, man. What's going on?
Hey, not much. I'm kind of with Drew. I would have thought Rocket would have led the backfield in average per carry. What was the carry difference between Johnson and Rocket, Phil?
Well, Sanders has 70 carries. Dominique Johnson has 33. So that's a pretty hefty difference. Yeah, and the last 2 weeks is where you've seen Rocket Sanders actually take the team lead as far as the running backs in carries. He's run the ball 33 times the last 2 weeks. KJ Jefferson's run 38, and they lead the team in carries. Even Traylon Smith is behind the two of them. Johnson's carries have kind of plateaued at like 5 per game. But if Sam Pittman wants to double that load, you're going to get 10. That means somebody's going to miss, a few carries.
Yeah, I think you're going to see KJ's carries kind of get more limited, especially over the next couple of weeks. And then you'll see A.J. Green kind of lose his carries because as far as running goes, I think Rocket looks the best to me, most well-rounded. His catching ability matches Dominique's blocking ability in the backfield, in my opinion. Rocket's good enough, but his catching ability separates him from Johnson as far as complete overall running back. Hey, the last thing I wanted to say, so everybody's kind of upset over the officials. Well, man, I think there was a few plays in that game because I think football is all about momentum. That one, and I didn't get to talk to you guys about this yesterday and get your opinion. That long field goal, you did not feel like that was a makeable field goal. I didn't anyway in that moment. And then the 2 fourth down plays, one was a really predictable run to Rocket. The second one was the same option play we had ran in the past 3 weeks, multiple times, and including once already in that game. And listen, it's real easy to be an armchair quarterback, but sometimes in situations like that, you cannot be running plays that are – I mean, they knew what was coming. You had one-on-one with Treylon a couple times, and, yeah, they stopped him in the red zone on one play.
Well, and in one of those plays, too, and I see where you're going, in one of those plays, too, you had KJ Jefferson one-on-one against the linebacker. And I would take that. I would, but Chandler Wooten won that matchup between the two of them. And I think you're right, too, about that field goal. They were kicking into the wind. I forget how long it was. What was it, 50 yards, something like that?
It was north of 45,
yeah,
for sure.
I don't think
49, 50.
I don't think it was really makeable either.
No, I don't think anybody really had that much faith that – not that Little's not a good kicker, but, I mean, it's pretty far.
Wind was blowing in his face pretty heavy, too, at that moment. So, Cody, we got to run. Appreciate the call, man. And it's always good to talk to you. And I think you hit a couple of good points there.
Although I think it might actually – the carries, if we get them to Johnson, are going to come out of Traylon Smith's pocket.
They could, because you're talking about running backs here, but KJ's carries have definitely ticked up the past couple of weeks, and some of that is on KJ himself, because on so many of these plays, one of the options is the quarterback to run.
Yeah.
And he does, I think he's
run.
Pretty comfortable getting out and running. We're comfortable at Riley Farm Dental, right there at the entrance of Riley Farms at Highway 71. That's because Dr. Bo Sparkman and Dr. Brogan make sure all patients have comfortable experiences in the dental chair, and that leads to better life. Providing all dental procedures, braces, implants, and cosmetics, Riley Farm Dental has been voted top 3 best of the best 4 years running. RileyFarmDental.com, and the phone number is 226-3500 at Riley Farm Dental at 5901 Riley Park Drive, Suite A in Fort Smith. After the break, we're digging into high school football with Nate Olson from Scorebook Live, so stay tuned.
Done it this way. That old Hank really do it this way.
Halftime is brought to you by Crabtree RV Center. 4 generations making your family dreams come true.
When it comes to baling, the denser, the better. Williams Tractor in Fayetteville, Berryville, and Bobcat in Northwest Arkansas can show you how roll belt round balers produce denser and higher quality round bales that drive down your production costs while driving up the nutrition of your bales. A competitive comparison showed New Holland roll belt round balers provide savings in net wrap, transportation, and lower storage losses. It's like being able to afford a new baler every other year. Stop by Williams Tractor in Fayetteville, Berryville, and Bobcat in Northwest Arkansas soon to learn firsthand about the benefits of roll belt round balers.
You want to know what makes me LeBron? Sleep. That's right. Sleep is my superpower. And Calm, the #1 app for sleep, is essential to activating that power. From the sound of rain falling on leaves to bedtime sleep stories, Calm puts me to sleep within minutes, which means I wake up ready for any challenge. Because greatness lies on the other side of sleep.
For 40% off a Calm premium subscription, go to calm.com/LJ. That's calm.com/LJ.
Halftime today is brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings in Fort Smith, Conway, Little Rock, Sherwood, and Jonesboro. B-Dubs, wings, beer, sports.
Harry Robinson Buick GMC wants to buy your vehicle, and they'll pay top dollar today. Pre-owned car values are at an all-time high, and your car is worth more today than it ever will be again. If you are driving a 2013 model or newer with 120,000 miles or less, bring it to Harry Robinson Buick GMC, and they will pay you more for your trade. Even if you don't want to buy a new car, they will still buy yours. Harry Robinson Buick GMC, exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
There's nothing quite like outdoor living, and at Razorback Camper Sales, we've been bringing the camping lifestyle to families for over 50 years. We're Arkansas's oldest family-owned RV dealer with the best parts and service department in the state. Razorback Camper Sales has everything you need for travel trailers, fifth wheels, and pop-ups. Find out why our customers are always happy campers. Come see us in Hot Springs or online at RazorbackCampersales.com.
For a limited time, Art's Barbecue and Burgers is serving up some great combo platters with all your favorite choices from Art's. Ribs and brisket, catfish and brisket, pulled pork and brisket, plus catfish and ribs. And you can add a hot link, sausage, or 2 tamales to any of the combo platters. Make your combo plate any way you want it to be. And don't forget, every Friday night is all-you-can-eat catfish at Art's. Art's Barbecue and Burgers, Rogers Avenue next to Buddy's in Fort Smith. Real smoked barbecue.
Locally owned Lumber One can handle all of your building needs. They've built their business on having great relationships with everybody from contractors and builders to the everyday build-it-yourself. Lumber One is a full-line door shop to handle all of your door, window, and trim needs. And along with lumber, roofing and drywall products, attic wall and floor insulation is available. Lumber One also does blueprint takeoff with access to design services with estimates available. So go where the pros go. Lumber One, located on Industrial Park Road in Van Buren.
Standard Materials Group has immediate openings for ready-mix drivers in the Northwest Arkansas area. If you have a CDL license without an automatic restriction and want to be home every night, want to work with a company that offers great pay, benefits, and a great team environment with growth opportunities, apply today at jobs.crh.com. Again, that's jobs.crh.com. Standard Materials Group is an equal opportunity employer.
Law's Drugstore in Fort Smith has COVID vaccinations available today for you and your family. Law's Drugstore has the Pfizer vaccine for ages 12 and up. The vaccine is safe and effective in preventing severe cases of COVID. Just call 452-6116 to schedule your appointment or stop by Law's Drugstore at 6802 Rogers Avenue behind Outback Steakhouse. Law's Drugstore, open 6 days a week to safely care for you and your family. Call them now, 452-6116.
This is ESPN 95.3. Halftime today is brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings in Fort Smith, Conway, Little Rock, Sherwood, and Jonesboro. Buffalo Wild Wings.
Roar!
Now, back to the guys. Here's Phil Elson, Matty T, and Drew Barrett.
All right, high school football time with Nate Olson from Scorebook Live, Mr. High School Football as far as this show is concerned. And of course, you hear him Fridays with Rex Nelson on the High School Football Scoreboard Show. Nate, how are you doing on this Tuesday morning?
Oh, I'm doing great. How are you guys doing?
Doing well.
We're good, man. Sun's shining.
Good.
Excited about everything. And let's see here. I know we had a pretty big 7A matchup in Bentonville last week. Let's just dig right into it here. Fayetteville takes down Bentonville. And what's up next for the Bulldogs? This team's kind of on a roll right now.
Yeah, they're in position. They've got the next 2 weeks. They'll be favored and semi-heavily probably. So they control their own destiny right now, guys. This would be their first outright conference championship since 1963. That comes via my good friend Matt Jones at Whole Hog Sports, who also is the voice of the Bulldogs. Does a great job for them. He called into our show and told us that. That's something I didn't believe. I could not believe that because they've won several state championships. I think it's 5 or 6 since 07. And so that's a stat that jumps out at you. And also, they hadn't beaten Bentonville in the regular season since 05. I told somebody today, a guy that's a Fayetteville alum, they got behind 14-0 right off the bat. You know how ESPN does that percent index or whatever, during the game?
They tried to do that in high school too?
Well, they don't, but if they did, I would say probably 99.9% they were going to lose. I mean, they have not, in the last couple of years done a good job of coming back. And, Casey Dick has done a masterful job this year. I think we talked before the season that, right when it started, that this is a team that has the potential to be a comeback team. A lot of media pundits, this was a darling of theirs. Hey, Fayetteville's going to be back. They're going to be really good. And I bought into that for the most part, but I was, I cautioned some people. I was on the podcast. They asked me if I was disappointed that Fayetteville was 1-2. They said absolutely not, because they lost to North Little Rock, who was number 2 in Arkansas at the time, and Owasso, Oklahoma, narrowly, who was number 2 in Oklahoma at the time, or number 1. So I was not. I still felt good about Fayetteville, and I had this game circled on the calendar. I was like, if you are back, if you are going to contend for a state championship, as a lot of people thought, you have to win this game. They beat Conway, which now, that looks like a huge resume builder. So you go 1-2, you beat Conway, you lose those other 2 games to quality opponents, and now you've beaten Bentonville, and you're undefeated in the league, and you have a very good chance, I would say 80% or better, to win these games and be undefeated conference championship or undefeated conference champions, which is huge for their program, huge for Casey Dick. Last year was not a great year for them with COVID and everything, and the way the season ended. Bladen Fike, I tell you, a guy I really admire is him. I wrote him I wrote a column, I wrote a letter to him, telling him to keep his head up after that. He spiked the ball with no time left, and they lost. Randy Moss was really hard on him, and that kid, he's one of the passing leaders in the state. He's a college recruit. Threw for 218 yards and 3 touchdowns last week. It doesn't get any bigger than that. You've got to have your quarterback playing well in a big game. He did it. And Jackson Taylor, the defensive back, picked off 2 passes, a 49-yard touchdown return. That kind of sparked a 21-0 run in the third quarter. 34-yard fumble return to set up another touchdown. So they were opportunistic defensively. That's something that I thought Fayetteville needed to shore up. And they talk about their offense, but they have weapons. We knew that. I thought defensively needed to shore things up. They've given up some points at times, and they gave up 34 against Bentonville, but they're kind of bend but don't break, and played really well in the second half.
Yeah, they've got a favorable schedule moving forward. Springdale, Rogers Heritage, then Harbor, so might look pretty good for Fayetteville to do exactly what you're saying with this. I didn't realize either. It's pretty elusive. For winning a state championship and haven't won a conference title in all those years. What about Farmington and Greenbrier coming up? Because I look at the standings in the 5A West, and it's between Greenbrier, Valonia, and Farmington. And Greenbrier still has to play against Valonia, so it's a pretty exciting final 3 weeks in that conference.
It really is. That 5A West has turned out to be really awesome. Some really good talent in that league. In Austin Myers of Valonia is a Division I quarterback. The 2 quarterbacks in this game are very good but different. You've got from the Greenbrier point of view, Cooper Wilcox. He can hurt you with his arm and his leg. He can run. He puts up a lot of big numbers running and throwing, total offense numbers. So they've ridden him well. He's done a great job. And one of his favorite targets is Carter McElhaney. He raced some eyebrows at the Meet of Champs, running a really good 100-meter time. He also posted a really good 40 time at the Razorback camp. So maybe not a Division I receiver, but probably Division II, and a guy that a Division II program will get a lot of speed out of him. He's really quick, and look for them to hook up a lot against, or at least try to against Farmington. And then Farmington's got Cameron Van Zant. He's a sophomore. I think it speaks a lot for J.R. Eldridge. The guy comes in after 1 year at North Little Rock. He comes into Farmington. Not many people are expecting a lot out of him. And you take a sophomore quarterback, a guy who hasn't played much, and he's putting up huge numbers, really doing well, and a guy that will need to have a good game to win this one. Justin Logue is senior receiver, 6 catches for 168 yards last week. So they've got 2 really dynamic receiving combinations, and both of those teams have other guys that can catch it too. So look for a really high-scoring shootout-type game. Farmington's already been in a couple of those. If Farmington loses, they are probably out of the conference race. They need to win to get a share of the championship. Greenbrier controls their own destiny, and I think a lot of people have looked ahead. Not a popular sentiment in Farmington, obviously, but I think a lot of people have looked ahead maybe to the last week of the season when Greenbrier and Bologna could play for the conference title as undefeated. So I think that's, I don't know how huge of a rivalry it is, but they are close together, so probably a little bit of a rival. And football hasn't always been great there. Bologna hasn't won a title since '03, but this year could set up that way. But Farmington hoping to knock them off. This will be a really good ball game. Should be really good.
Nate, another big matchup in the 7A division would be Northside versus North Little Rock. I think only one loss between the two of those, if I'm not mistaken, right?
2 losses for Northside after they lost to Conway in a really hard-fought game. But Northside is a team that could end up being, a 3rd or 4th seed, but will be a tough out. They'll be a tough out, and they'll come to Northwest Arkansas, and they will be hard to beat. They're battle-tested. They gave Bryant a run for their money. They're a goal line stand away. They're 4th and goal. They scored there. It puts a lot of pressure on Bryant in the 4th quarter. Bryant would have only been up by a touchdown, so they weren't able to do it. But same thing with Conway. They had Conway on the ropes. Conway has to score with 20 seconds left to win. So they know they can play well. They have a great offensive line. And they're going to try to go mano-a-mano with North Little Rock and their big guys. They've got some good guys in the trenches. They're losing 3 starters this week because of injuries and different things, including a defensive end, Braxton Johnson, who's very good. So that's going to hurt North Little Rock. But look for Northside to do what they do best. They're going to pound it with Sunquist Church and Ty Massey behind that line. They'll throw it when they need to with Walker Gustavus. And if they can control North Little Rock's running game, Conway was able to do that. They were able to isolate that, to contain it. They keep them from the big chunk plays and the big the long drive. So I think this is going to be a tight game. North Little Rock still could. They've got 1 loss, so if they win out, they could be in line for that number 1 seed, share a conference title. They've got Bryant next week, so big game for them to try to stay in. This will be another good game and a very physical, hard-hitting game.
Nate, before we let you go, this situation at Tennessee from over the weekend, and I've been to a lot of sporting events. I've never seen stuff thrown out of the stands the way that it was. And I wonder, in your experience in high school sporting events, have you ever seen a fan base act the way that the Tennessee's did? And I kind of feel a little bad just like throwing the entire Tennessee fan base into this, but unfortunately they do get kind of lumped in with the idiots. Is there a moment that you've seen something like that where you realize, look, you're putting your own players, your own band, your own fans in danger?
Well, 2 fans at the Springdale game last week got ejected late in the 4th quarter, so I saw it just last week. Luckily, nothing got thrown, but Nate, have you seen something getting thrown before?
I haven't. I haven't really. I think when growing up in Iowa, in some of those cracker box basketball gyms, I've seen some things thrown out, some water bottles thrown on the court, and the game had to be stopped when I was a kid, like back in my hometown. Things got a little contentious. But, I mean, one thing I'll say about Arkansas is that the principals and athletic directors and all the school officials, they do a great job of crowd control. I mean, I was on the sidelines with the Buzz for 3 years, so I was up close and personal with the fans. I don't hardly ever remember nothing being thrown. You hear some stuff, but nothing even really like vulgar or cussing. I mean, I'm sure that goes on. I'm not going to say it doesn't, but I think in Arkansas, if you start acting the fool, as they like to say, you get ejected pretty quickly. I don't think they put up with stuff too much like that here. So I've been fortunate to not see. I've seen some things on the field that weren't the greatest. I've seen a couple fights after games and got in the middle of one at the state championship game a couple years ago, and I was a little bit worried I was going to take a helmet to the head. I was trying to dodge some bodies in there. You know, it gets a little dangerous when you start having 300-pound bodies flying in the handshake line. But the crowds know, and I talked to a guy that is a big Tennessee fan. He said it kind of stinks that they're lumped in. You know, he said there's several hundred that probably did it, several thousand that didn't. But, yeah, it's not a good look. But fortunately, I think Arkansas high school fans behave themselves pretty well. And if there are a couple isolated incidents, they get tossed pretty quick.
Yeah. Ask Philadelphia sports fans about getting lumped in with a few idiots. You know, not every Eagles fan threw snowballs or ice balls all those years ago. Did. But
no,
the rest of them are lumped in with them.
Beer cans at the Vikings fans a few years ago was something I saw on video. It was pretty bad too. Yeah, there are people like that in every fan base. Not every fan base is like that. I agree.
We're going to make them feel shame before they do those things. Nate, appreciate you, man. We'll talk next week. Thank you.
Okay. Yep.
That's Nate Olson, scorebooklive.com, and one of the two hosts, although the quieter of the two, on the Friday High School Scoreboard Show. Nobody's louder than Rex Nelson. I mean, nobody. Halftime is brought to you by our friends at Ozark Orthopedics. If you're a weekend warrior or a professional athlete, Ozark Orthopedics can help you stay in the game. Their sports medicine experts help athletes of all ages and skill levels get back to the activities that they enjoy and that they love safely and pain-free. Your injury can happen before, during, or after the game. Doesn't matter. Their team of orthopedic specialists can provide you with the most comprehensive and advanced care available. Ozark-ortho.com is the website for Ozark Orthopedics. 479-521-2752 to schedule an appointment. First hour of halftime wrapping up next.
Check out our selection and savings today at Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith. If you're in the market looking for a Dodge Ram, this is a place to shop. If you're looking for Toyota Tundras, how about GMC Sierras or Chevrolet Silverados, pre-owned F-150s? If you're looking for Mustangs, Corvettes, we have a little bit of something for everyone. Stop in and see us, 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith, or shop us online at randallford.com.
Joe's Grill and Cantina is the only place to watch the Hogs. Watch every game at Joe's. Enjoy half-price apps and taps during the game. And with TVs all around the restaurant, you'll have a front row seat. Half-price appetizers like brisket nachos, Mexican pizza, 10-layer dip, or Joe's humongous sampler platter. All half-price. And all beers on tap are half-price. Watch every Hog game at Joe's. Half-price apps and taps during every Hog game at Joe's Grill and Cantina, 3400 South 74th Street across from Harps.
Ashley Air is proud to be an official sponsor of Razorback Athletics. Our service to the River Valley began in 1958, the same year that the legendary Frank Broyles took over as football coach. The Hogs have had some great coaches, but we've never had so many on campus all at once. Sam Pittman, Eric Musselman, Dave Van Horn, and Mike Neighbors, just to name a few. What an incredible team. We put together quite a team at Ashley Air, too. On game day, call the Hogs. When your AC breaks, call Ashley Air.
Riley Farm Dental, at the entrance to Riley Farms, provides every type of dental care and procedures for you and your family. From general dentistry, braces, implants, and cosmetics, Dr. Bo Sparkman and Dr. Brogan give all of their patients better lives with a better smile, more confidence, and a comfortable experience every time. Riley Farm Dental, 5901 Riley Park Drive, Suite A, at the entrance to Riley Farms. Call 226-3500 for an appointment or visit RileyFarmDental.com.
Loading the kids in the car, brokering peace in the back seat, mastering the snack handoff without even looking. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with auto owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. We work with independent agents who keep insurance simple, so you can worry about more important things, like figuring out what's growing in that cup holder. That's simple human sense.
Call Kohler and Green Insurance today in Fort Smith at 484-9888 and Kohler and Green Insurance in Van Buren at 474-9888.
Make a Wake Bait and Tackle on Highway 64 between Van Buren and Alma has everything a fisherman needs. Rods, reels, tackle, plastics, all kinds of great baits to catch a wall hanger. Rods starting at $69.95. The biggest selection of plastics in the River Valley. Reaction Innovation, Bobby Garland, Lake Fork Hugin, and more. And Make a Wake has die-away Goa rods and reels, and they repair them too. Make a Wake Bait and Tackle, 1 mile east of I-540 on Highway 64, between Van Buren and Alma. Make a Wake Bait and Tackle.
The Peter Pender Zone of Wave Rural Connect is open. That fiber internet, phone, and TV service you've been hearing so much about is now available for areas south of the Arkansas River, to Coxville, to east of Cecil, and over to Roseville, with amazingly fast internet starting at $49.95 a month. Call 1-833-4WAVE-RC or go online to signup.waveruralconnect.com to get signed up. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities that we serve.
Nobody has more pre-owned trucks than Harry Robinson's Salasol Ford. Work trucks, heavy-duty four-wheel drive trucks, single cab, extended cab, and four-wheel drive crew cab trucks. Fords, Chevys, GMCs, Dodge, Ram, and Nissans. And with historic low interest rates, no payments for 90 days, and the most for your trade, Harry Robinson's Salasol Ford is the only place to buy your next truck. Harry Robinson's Salasol Ford, 1 mile south of exit 308 off I-40 in Salasol.
This is ESPN 95.3. Halftime today is brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings in Fort Smith, Conway, Little Rock, Sherwood, and Jonesboro. Buffalo Wild Wings.
Well, you went uptown riding in your limousine with your fine Park Avenue clothes. You had the Dom Perignon in your hand and the spoon up your nose. Ooh, when you wake up in the morning with your head on fire and your eyes too bloody to see.
Find us on 99.5 and 1290 in Northwest Arkansas, 95.3 in Fort Smith in the River Valley, 96.3 in Hot Springs in Central Arkansas, 104.3 in Harrison and Mountain Home, and everywhere on hitthatline.com. Now, back to the guys. Here's Phil Elson, Matty T, and Drew Barrett.
One of my favorite Billy Joel songs here. It's Angry, still drunk from the night before Billy Joel, who's not very happy with his lady, who kind of put on a show the night before. Anyway, basketball season approaches here, and the
NBA
polls,
starts tonight.
It does?
Yeah.
I was unaware of this.
Oh.
Hey, by the way, congratulations, Daniel Gafford, for getting the second contract. He got his second contract. What did I see? 20 million, 20-some million, 3 years?
I think it was like 40 million.
40 million? Yeah, all right.
Like,
so double that then.
Yeah. 3 years, $40 million.
That's outstanding. Good for him. Well, getting the first contract is great. Going in the draft is great. Getting that second contract means you've done some stuff. And Daniel Gafford looks like he's a real NBAer. Good for him. Good for him. All right. So what are you expecting out of the NBA season, right? Drew, you want to do a quick 2-minute NBA preview here? Because you're the only one of us that's going to watch it.
That actually cares.
Yeah, I think. Hey, look, I like basketball. Yeah. There's only so much that I can pay attention to.
Well, I mean, the biggest thing is it's been the off-season storylines. Obviously Kyrie not being with the Nets over his vaccination stance. It's also with Ben Simmons, as he's just now coming across my Twitter line. He's been suspended after a spat at practice, apparently, with another teammate. You got Russell Westbrook out there in L.A. now with LeBron and AD and everybody in the Lakers. So it's going to be interesting. Probably going to be just as chalky as it's been the last few years. Probably going to be L.A., maybe Brooklyn. Milwaukee's got a decent shot at repeating. For the Grizzlies fans out there, and I know there's plenty of you, I think the Grizzlies have a great chance at contending. I'm not going to say anywhere close to making it to the NBA Finals, but they got a chance to contend for the 6, 7, 8 spot in the West, and it's going to be interesting to watch. OKC's going to be a little bit down, I think. I think they'll be at the ceiling, probably play-in game, but it's going to be interesting. Definitely to see fans back in the stands, and that's going to look different depending on where in the country are you, and mask, no mask, and it's just going to be a lot of exciting basketball, Phil, and I'm going to enjoy it.
Can we expect you to be making some routine trips back to East West Memphis to watch your hometown big league team?
On the weekends that I can make it there, I will for sure.
All right, we'll get us. Maybe you can give us a little thoughts on Arkansas Bass, since you were at the Red-White game. You can get into that in the next segment. or later on in the show, or maybe tomorrow, because it is that 2-week stretch of football season where you're playing an FCS school, and then you get a bye week. And basketball season is approaching at the right time. Arkansas basketball cannot use the "we get no respect" thing going into this season.
Oh, plenty of people already have over the poll.
Sure they will.
I've been seeing it not on both sides of my Twitter, from Arkansas and East-West Memphis.
I guess you expect them to be picked first in the preseason media poll, in which it doesn't mean anything. It's a coach can take anything he wants to and turn it into bulletin board material, if at all possible. Maybe you'll look at only one player on an all-SEC preseason team as an ability for some of the other guys to put a chip on their shoulder and see if they can make one of those lists. Evo Davis, a second-teamer, and you get Kentucky all over the place with 4 players on the 2 teams. You got Alabama with Shackelford and Quinterly. Of course, Kentucky's picked to win the league. Alabama picked ahead of Arkansas. Arkansas picked ahead of Tennessee. So Tennessee's got plenty of bulletin board material, too. And the polls just don't matter. But they matter to the teams, especially in the preseason. And Musk said, look, I mean, last year they picked them 6th, and they showed them a little something.
Yeah.
They showed them quite a little something.
Showed them how wrong they were.
Arkansas men's basketball is not going to be sneaking up on anybody this
Not
year.
especially when night in and night out you're going to be adding sellout or very close to.
That's right. And speaking of sellouts, it looks like the women's basketball team is pretty darn close to having the entire lower bowl sold out.
Right.
But you just have a couple of sections behind one of the end zones, and then behind with the other end zone. Still, this is going to be great. We're going to have great atmospheres for men's and women's basketball like we haven't seen in years. And the second hour of halftime is coming up with Get Off My Lawn next.
For a dependable, fuel-efficient tractor from a company committed to the future, choose a Branson tractor. Each of our tractors is backed by a 6-year limited warranty with models available ranging in horsepower from 22 to 58. You are sure to find the tractor that is right for you. Make sure you call or stop in today at the new location for Bush Tractor at 6100 South 0 Street in Fort Smith. Again, that is 6100 South 0 Street in Fort Smith. Or you can check them out online at bushtractor.com.
River City Bistro is Fort Smith's favorite place for lunch, dinner, and brunch. Open 7 days a week, both on the patio and cozy dining room. River City Bistro, locally owned and open weekdays 11 till 8, Saturdays 10 till 8, and Sundays 10 till 3. Want River City Bistro curbside to go? Just search on Facebook or Instagram for River City Bistro or go to rcbistro.com. River City Bistro, 7320 Rogers Avenue in the Stonewood Village Shopping Center. The Fence Man, the company you can trust when it comes to building quality fencing and gates, is looking for quality people to join the Fence Man team. If you're a fence builder or have building experience, apply in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man offers great pay, health, dental, and vision benefits, plus a $500 sign-on bonus. Join the top fence building team and get a $500 sign-on bonus. The Fence Man. Apply in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man is an equal opportunity employer.
In sports, if you think joy only happens after you win, think again. Look at the world's most successful athletes like Serena Williams, Brooks Koepka, and Alex Morgan. They don't spend all their days grinding away. They take time to enjoy themselves, like getting together with friends over a Michelob Ultra, because they know that happiness is the key to winning, and that joy is the whole game, not just the end game. Michelob Ultra. 95 calories, 2.6 grams of carbs. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Looking for a fence company that will provide the personal touch to your fence or gating project? Call Dusty's Fence Company at 479-629-4190. Dusty's Fence Company specializes in custom wood design, vinyl fencing, chain link and ornamental iron projects, and they can even stain your fence to complete your project. Family owned and in business for 20 years, you will deal with the same person from start to finish. That's Dusty's Fence Company, 479-629-4190.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, plenty of sunshine. Our high temperatures today, low 70s north, mid 70s south. Mainly clear sky tonight, and overnight low will drop down into the low 50s. Wednesday, back to sunny skies. We have a slight chance of seeing a shower or thunderstorm across the north. High temperatures upper 70s to lower 80s. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
Hear from Hogs Illustrated's Clay Henry every Tuesday and Friday on the Morning Rush starting at 7. We'll talk Razorback history, fly fishing, golf, and anything you can think of.
It's fast, it's
exciting.
KERX Paris Fort Smith. This is Halftime, coming at you from the Busch Light Studios on ESPN 95.3. Live from the Busch Light Studios.
I love Arkansas. I love everything here. Give me that thing here. Woo!
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
And this one belongs to the Razorbacks.
Streaming live from
HitThatLine.com.
Fans are amazing. It is lit down here on the sideline.
This is Halftime with Phil Elson, Matty T, and Drew Barrett.
My calculations are correct. When this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're going to see some serious...
Here come the students. Oh, here come the students. They're coming from the south end, and this one has been a long time brewing.
I have been waiting for this moment for a long time.
Judging by the sound of it, so has everyone else.
Hey, hold on. It's almost halftime.
We are going into the second hour of our show today, and we are educating our friend Drew Barrett on the meaning or definition of bisques this afternoon on Halftime.
Because what did you think we'd be talking about during breaks?
Well, there's some stuff I can't get into on the air that we get into off the air. It wouldn't work properly for us. But today is today's hashtag holiday. We haven't even brought up any of the hashtag holidays very much of late. Today is hashtag National Seafood Bisque Day, celebrating the smoothest of soups.
See, and I was wondering if it's like a cream of crab. I love cream of crab soup.
I guess it would be like
a bisque.
Yeah.
But then I also thought, would a bisque be like a chowder? And
Nope.
you said that's no, because it's too chunky.
Yeah.
But it's got to be. So the difference between a bisque and a soup is a bisque is dairy based.
No, a bisque is a soup. It's a type of a soup, but it's smooth and it's cream based and it's. Yeah, I think I've pretty much just hit it for you.
Now I've got a question. I'm confused.
Well, that sounds like less thick sauce. Then.
I thought I knew what a bisque was, but if I go to Red Lobster and I get a bisque and I crumble up my cheddar biscuits into it and now it's chunky, does it cease to be a bisque?
Is it a chowder?
Yeah.
Is it now a chowder?
Then I think you've turned it into a dip.
Huh.
I don't know.
I think I'm the dip.
Or a chunky sauce.
Well, either way, it's a soup that's worth celebrating. I mean, a good seafood bisque can get you pretty fired up about whatever's coming next. But it's never going to be the main thing.
It's worth its own day.
Yes. So many things are worth its own day. There's like 5 different hashtag holidays to pick from today. But what happened to October the 1st when there were like 28 of them? It was pretty ridiculous.
Is there really 28 days to pick from?
Pretty much. The October 1st on my National Day webpage, it took up the entire... I had to scroll down. Yeah, it was kind of nuts.
What day did you end up picking?
On October 1st? I don't know what I picked on October 1st.
How do you not know? It's your job.
Stop
you do
what
it.
you're doing right now and go back and look.
You're the guy, Drew, who knows that today's the 91st show that we're doing together. So you go back to October the 1st.
Well, technically,
and
it's
tell me
not the
what it
91st show that we are doing together. It's the 91st show that I have done. It's not even the 91st show that Maddie and I have done because Maddie's missed 2 days. Maddie's missed 2 days. You've missed 5.
You were on a dude ranch for a week.
Yeah, so it's It's only the 91st show that I have done. Neither one of you has been on this journey with me throughout the whole 91.
Can I count the shows that you weren't here that I did and add those to mine?
Well, yeah, sure.
Okay.
You can do
but I haven't been keeping count. So.
Drew, the journey that you're on, I don't know if I really want to be a part of that journey. So I'll take care of my own journey. You take care of yours. So Drew's the guy who was like, Salvador Perez set the record for home runs hit by a catcher this year.
Mm-hmm.
He's the guy that goes back into the day-by-days and say, look, you only caught like 100 of these games, and Johnny Bench caught 135 back in 1970, so he doesn't really get the record. And again, that's something I would do too, but I didn't.
I appreciate it.
Drew, I'm not saying this to you. I don't mean this to you because it isn't you that I'm saying this to. But it is early in the second hour Tuesday. So get off my lawn.
That is blasphemous. That is blasphemous. How dare you? How dare you say such a thing? That is insanity.
You're talking like a song from The Lion King. Stop that. It makes no sense.
Why would you say something so controversial yet so brave?
Just when I think you've said the stupidest thing ever, you keep talking.
This is ridiculous.
I'm calling my supervisor.
You're not going to amount to jack squat.
Get off my lawn.
So I start with a get on my lawn here. It's kind of a reverse get off my lawn. And if Arkansas still played multiple games a year at War Memorial Stadium in Little Rock, I think I'd have an issue with it. They don't. They don't even play one game a year there. So this is the one game this year.
They saved a really good one for Little Rock this time.
You do have some interesting games, though, coming up. What is it? Is Liberty playing at War Memorial in a couple of years? You get the Arkansas State game.
Yeah.
Another UAPB game, I believe that's in 2024. So I mean, there are a couple of interesting games. You're never going to have another SEC game there. You're probably not going to have many games against FBS teams. And I think, honestly, once you get to the end of this contract, I wonder if Arkansas will play any more at War Memorial Stadium. But I'm here for all the in-state games that Arkansas plays to be there. I kind of think that would kind of make sense. Arkansas State,
of course.
UAPB, if for some reason UCA and the Razorbacks ever sign a contract to play, then I think that would be cool if that also was at Little Rock at War Memorial Stadium. I'm not here to defend War Memorial Stadium. It's not a great place for a game. And in this day and age where Arkansas's got to figure out what to do with the Southwest Conference Classic or the Southwest Classic against Texas A&M, you just can't have 2 home games a year that aren't at your own stadium.
Exactly.
So you're going to do away with playing A&M at Jerry World sooner and later.
Are you?
I think so. I think
that guy who owns Jerry World, he gives you a lot of money.
It's under.
If he wants a game a year, he gets a game a year.
That's not going to stop. He's not going to stop donating money to the program that he loves because they want to play more home games, which might actually be better for the program. I just don't think they're going to move forward with it. But I'm okay playing one game every once in a while at War Memorial Stadium. It's not the greatest place, as far as the luxuries are concerned or the amenities.
History and
they're putting in a new
history's
locker
there,
room for the players and stuff like that. And for the fans, you don't have all the amenities. It is actually a pretty good place to watch a football game. You've got great sight lines.
Oh, yeah, I've seen a game there.
I like going to games there. But then again, I lived in Little Rock for 19 years, so I have a little bit of a different perspective than maybe most of our listenership does. So that's a get on my lawn. I do have a get off my lawn for Nick Rolovich, the now former Washington State head coach. Maybe he'll end up becoming the next head coach at Liberty University, I'm sure, because it was his religious beliefs that he said that caused him to not take the vaccine. He never expounded upon what those beliefs were. So I don't know, you can take somebody at their face value with that, but I think you kind of would like to hear an explanation of what exactly those beliefs are. He never got into that. Washington State, by the way, is not firing him because of the religious aspects of this. From what I read about the process, and they've okayed like 850 religious exemptions at Washington State University, but in order to get that exemption, you have to be able to do your job
properly. You can't coach from home
under different circumstances than those who are vaccinated. And look, this isn't a matter of First Amendment or anything like that. He's free to not get the shot, to believe what he wants to believe. But in that case, in a state where there is a mandate, you don't live in a state that does that. You can feel how you want to feel about that. He lives in a state where that's mandated. He let his team down. Those players might love him still. That doesn't change the fact that he let them down in a moment where they probably needed him for at least the next few weeks before maybe at that point he can make his decision. I'm not comfortable working at a place where I'm forced to get a shot that I don't want to get and then go find a job somewhere else. He let him down. I don't feel sympathy for him whatsoever. Nick Rolovich, off my lawn.
I'm with you. It's just it's a simple thing to say just get the shot. But if that's his prerogative, that's what he wants to do, fine. This is America. We're all free to do things. But you also got to remember there are consequences to things. There are consequences to your choice. And if that's the hill that you're willing to die on, then I guess go right ahead for it.
I find it's an odd hill to die on, to give up multi-million dollars in a job that might have led to other better jobs. So I don't know. I'm sure he feels good about his own decision here because this seemed to be something that was locked in his mind for a good long while. He knew it was going to happen.
I'm with you there. My get off my lawn goes to Twitter. And more importantly, just the first thing that when I got to work this morning, I set up everything for the morning rush, cut the audio, blah-de-da-da-da. Then I start working on the show. And one of the main things that I do is I just start going through Twitter. I check different accounts, different things, and just scroll through my timeline. Literally, the first thing on my timeline I see is a tweet from Grind City Media's Jessica Benson talking about her Bills and about a quote that Josh Allen gave before the game. Said that if the Bills win the Super Bowl, he will take off his cleat and drink a cold beer out of it on the podium. It
seems to be something Will Levis, the Kentucky quarterback, would do too.
Definitely.
But he would squeeze mayonnaise and eat it out of his shoe.
So that is called a shoey, right? So this is...
It's gross, man. That's so gross.
Yes, it's a thing, and it's been a thing. Like, I remember people used to do it in college. I had fraternity brothers that would take off their Sperry's or their tennis shoes and do it. But that's not the whole get off my lawn thing. So she is a Bills fan. And this is after the Bills lost. So just like any other fan believing in jinxes and superstition, when Josh Allen says this literally 30, 40 minutes before the game, she then quote tweets the quote and says, "This is why we don't talk about drinking beer out of shoes in October," when it was referring to winning the Super Bowl, right? That's a very simple things most fans always do. We all believe, we're all superstitious, we all believe in the jinx. Apparently, it is unacceptable for her to be a fan. One, Bills fans start coming after her, telling her that she's not a fan. One guy just comments 4 clown face emojis. Another person says, "Get off Twitter." Another person, this is the guy who can really get off my lawn, at MikeCav29. "You're a journalist and this is your take? Wow, journalism has really gone downhill nowadays." Like, it's a fan's take. Like, everything she tweets out as a member of the media, everything we tweet out doesn't have to be a story. It's not just a take. We can be fans, and you don't have to try to attack us personally. And he goes on to make another comment that says, she says, "It's a wrong take and she knows it. How can she be credible for what she has to be said?" And like, I clicked on this guy's profile, right, Phil? And in the last month, he has not had one positive thing apparently happen in his life.
It's a good thing he's got Twitter than event. It's a good thing he's got that
oh
app.
my gosh, Debbie freaking Downer, dude. Like, get off Twitter, enjoy your life, find something worth enjoying, and stop just harassing people just because she has a blue check mark, just because she works for Grind City Media, and just because she is part of the media, doesn't mean she can't just make a joke like a lot of fans would. Like, the jinx, it happens. It's a joke. You don't have to come at her personally and professionally.
From
like,
now on,
I don't understand it. I don't get it.
She's going to need to preface every tweet that she wants to, joke with "This is a joke." It's unfortunate, but it is also Twitter.
Just do something more productive with your time than yelling at people on Twitter over a joke. And it's not like this was an offensive joke or this crossed the line. This is as as G-rated jokes get on Twitter nowadays.
Is this somebody that you know personally?
Dude.
Is this
Jessica?
Yeah.
I've met her a few times. I had a few conversations with her back in East West Memphis, but I wouldn't say we're friends or we're even acquaintances.
You weren't ever sweet on her, were you?
No. She's engaged now. Anyway.
Oh, she doesn't need a white knight to come in.
It's a pretty nervous laugh I heard there, Manny.
No, so she's a very nice person. I wouldn't say that we know each other by any means. Had a few passing conversations, and by few passing, it's "Hi, how are you? Good, how are you? Blah blah blah," for like 10 seconds, if that. And like, that's happened 2 or 3 times. I just hate idiots that like to see somebody with a blue check mark or somebody that's in the media and feel like because we're media members, we aren't allowed to be human beings, and that everything we say has to be taken seriously when those same people get on social media. And this guy especially drops the F-bombs everywhere, talks about how people need to lose their jobs, they should never have been born. I mean, he literally has a tweet where he said, "So-and-so should have never been born and definitely should have never been hired. Fire his effing bleep now."
I wonder what he's like in real life.
Apparently he's married. He's got a picture with his
Somebody can
wedding
put up
day.
with that all the time.
I know, right? I don't get it. I do not get the negativity that people constantly feel like they have to just throw around. Just because you're miserable doesn't mean you have to try to make other people miserable.
No, we're good at making you miserable right here.
Yeah, that's
Just
our
listen to
job.
the
That's
radio.
our job.
We'll be pretty good at doing those things. All right. Hey, Maddie, I know we got a couple of callers on hold, but we're kind of pushing the break. What do you want to do?
Let's get Larry and Lavaca and Charlie and Camden right after the break so they got a full segment to get in.
Okay, let's do that rather than, force them to be quick on their calls. Halftime is brought to you by Crabtree RV Center in Alma. That's the dealership that's been serving you for over 70 years in the River Valley in Northwest Arkansas. Right there at the junction of I-40 and I-49 in Alma on a 17-acre, 26,000-square-foot showroom floor. If you can't find it, they don't have it at Crabtree RV Center. Help you choose the right RV, and if there's a breakdown in between, they've got the service and parts department to take care of you, too. Crabtree RV makes your family's dreams come true. Been doing it for over 70 years and 4 generations. The whole inventory is at CrabtreeRV.com. Phone calls, and yes, Nate, misery coming up next on Halftime.
See, what every long shot come from behind underdog will tell you is this. The other guy may in fact be the favorite. The odds may be stacked against you, fair enough. But what the odds don't know is this isn't a math.
Back and better than ever. All eyes are on the gridiron as teams are back for another football season. As always, BetOnline is your #1 spot for all the pro and college football action this season. With the new updated site and interface, even more odds, props, and contests, BetOnline continues to be the #1 source for everything football. Head to your website or use your mobile device to sign up today and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Don't forget to use our promo code BELIEVE to receive your bonus. That's BLEAV. From football, basketball, boxing, right to your favorite Vegas casino games. Don't wait to take advantage of these amazing offers for the 2021 season. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite sports. BetOnline, where the game starts.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
Now that's a dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite. White perch, slab, sacalé, paper mouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
Do you know the difference between admission and confession? Admission is acknowledging the truth of something. Confession is a formal statement agreeing that you're guilty. Greg Allman admitted he's no angel, but that doesn't mean he confessed his guilt before God. Romans 10:10 says, one believes and is justified, and with the mouth one confesses and is saved. Confess to God that Jesus died in your guilty place, and then you'll receive His amazing grace. I'm Pastor Heath from Woodland. Pray about it.
The Game Day Lodge in Branson is the perfect place for corporate retreats, golf trips, and team building activities. You'll find 10 bedrooms with 19 beds for up to 28 guests, 9 bathrooms, 17 TVs, poker table, 2 kitchens, 2 laundry rooms, a fire pit, 2 gas grills, outdoor basketball court, a heated indoor swimming pool nearby, and a 10-minute drive to Silver Dollar City. Not to mention near some of the best golf courses. Just search Game Day Lodge on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Airbnb, and VRBO. We're back and better than ever. All eyes are on the gridiron as teams are back for another football season. As always, BetOnline is your #1 spot for all the pro and college football action this season.
906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge, defining nightlife in downtown Fort Smith. Doors open at 4 Tuesday through Saturday.
Nobody has more pre-owned trucks than Harry Robinson's Salasol Ford. Work trucks, heavy-duty four-wheel drive trucks, single cab, extended cab, and four-wheel drive crew cab trucks. Fords, Chevys, GMCs, Dodge, Ram, and Nissans. And with historic low interest rates, no payments for 90 days, and the most for your trade, Harry Robinson's Salasol Ford is the only place to buy your next truck. Harry Robinson's Salasol Ford, 1 mile south of exit 308 off I-40 in Salasol.
This is ESPN 95.3.
Hey,
Halftime today is brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings in Fort Smith, Conway, Little Rock, Sherwood, and Jonesboro. B-Dubs, Wings, Beer, Sports. You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson, Matty T, and Drew Barrett. Want to jump in the conversation with the guys? Call or text into Halftime at 877-377-6963.
Zach in Paragould texted how excited he is for the Arkansas State game because he works at A-State. So you get 4 years for the build-up for that one, Zach.
Whoa. We have a listener that works for A-State, and I couldn't get a beer at the game. Come on, man. You got to hook me up. I couldn't get into the beer section.
Come on, man. You're talking Craighead County. Well, is that the county that Jonesboro is located in?
It's a dry county, and they do serve beer at the game, but you have to have a special ticket to get a beer. So you're telling me we have a loyal listener and texter who works there, and I still didn't have a drink?
Just the fact that they allowed even a drop of alcohol inside that stadium is almost mind-blowing for people that remember what it used to be like before they turned it into a county that you can have a membership for the place to go get something to drink. And now you can actually get one at a football game, but you need to get the right ticket next time your East-West Tigers play there.
Well, my ticket was the right ticket because it was a free ticket. And if it's free, it's for me.
Free also means you ain't drinking, apparently.
Yeah.
I came here from Jacksonville, and Jacksonville was the same way.
It's in a dry county.
The one restaurant that can serve beer and alcohol is Chili's, and you have to get a little card, and it's nothing. It's a free card, but yeah, you technically have to have a membership card.
It's so funny. I was at the grocery store last night,
and
I heard.
I lived there for many.
Well, this would have been Sunday night. I'm at the grocery store, and the cashier is trying to explain to the woman why she can't get a bottle of wine at the grocery store. And I was just like, "Yep, this is always fun to listen to." And no matter how much you protested, it doesn't make any sense. I don't understand. Be like, you have to just live here a little bit.
Was it because it was Sunday?
Yeah.
Well, now
I don't even like that because
we can go across the border in Fort Smith and
back in East-West Memphis, they just changed that law in Tennessee like 4 years ago. But as soon as I moved here, I just decided I wanted to go buy a bottle of liquor or alcohol on Sunday.
Not so fast.
I had grown up with that law my entire life up until like the last 3-4 years, and now I'm just like, this is ridiculous. I can't have a drink on Sunday.
I just love that the first thing you wanted to do when you moved to Arkansas was have a drink.
Phil, I would have wanted to have a drink whether I moved here or not.
Got a couple of callers on hold. Let's get to them. Larry in Lavaca. We appreciate you holding there through the break, Larry. How are you?
Afternoon. How are you fellas doing?
Doing great. Well. Doing great. What's up?
Hey, tell Drew about he seems like he likes drinking beer about everywhere he goes.
I do enjoy it.
There are some people like that.
That,
I mean, it's a pastime of mine. It's one of my favorite activities.
We went out for margaritas the other night. He had a margarita and then ordered a beer.
And then another margarita?
And then another margarita. But he had to get the beer in there.
Well, what I was going to say is, let me tell you something that a wise man told me when I was a freshman at the University of Arkansas. And then I told it to East-West Memphis boy when I went to the Liberty Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
And the last Liberty Bowl Arkansas went to, it was cold.
Oh, yeah.
But,
remember that.
Anyway, there was a boy next to me, and he told me, I remembered it, but he had to have a beer, and he was in the middle of the row, and he was fighting to get the beer, and he finally got one, and he was shivering. He had a little coat on. He was drinking beer or something, and I said, "Hey, partner," said, "the guy told me one time they make more of that in St. Louis."
Hey, the ocean called, and they're running out of shrimp, right? That's exactly the direction they're going there. Yeah.
They make more of that, so you don't have to drink it all at once. But, hey,
that's pretty good.
Hey, Phil, I got to get off my lawn. Okay?
Shoot. Okay, go for it.
This ain't too popular with college athletes, but I'm going to tell you, I went to Fayetteville, and I went to school up there at Fayetteville a long time ago, but I noticed something in the news that ESPN was reporting the other day that these historically black colleges come out with a report that said that college athletes didn't need to do entrance exams anymore, ACT and SAT. Do you know anything? Have you heard anything about that?
Yeah, the NCAA is doing away with those. I don't know the word that I'm searching for here, but a lot of universities are not requiring, and that's the right word, Drew, are not requiring ACT or SAT entrance exams. Yeah, until they're changed or they're looking for another sort of a test to go to because of certain biases that have been inside those tests.
That's true.
Is that going on right now?
I don't think that's happening right now. I don't think that's happening now because the NCAA just mentioned this the other day that they I don't know if there was a date that they pointed to or they just said right now we're no longer utilizing these entrance exams. So, and I haven't read up fully on the story. I don't know if there's a certain grade point average you've got to be able to get in and play. But I mean, I'm
sure there's grade requirements. I mean, there has to be grade requirements to get into college.
Yeah, but I mean, there also used to be more not expectations, but more requirements for grades and for SAT scores so that kid.
Yeah, did y'all have to write essays? I never wrote a college essay.
Forget the name of the proposition, Proposition 56 or something like that, and it kind of it kept kids from being able to play for a full year, or I guess even get into the school. But that's certainly something to pay attention to in the near future. I appreciate the phone call too. For getting in there with us, Larry. Let's go to Charlie in Camden. He's next on Halftime.
And we're almost out of time, too.
Yeah,
so
Charlie, what you got?
Charlie. He's used to this.
Yeah. Oh, man, you guys, you just love to always give me running in. Anyway, I just wanted to touch on, actually, I called today. I was thinking about the basketball team, and I was listening to Coach Musk the other day. Some of the things he, mentioned. One of the things that I'm really excited about, I think, with basketball, it takes a little time to gel, and I think it happens more during the season than it does during – I'm not saying you don't gel during practice, but, you got to get these kids in games, and, they got to play some games. And, one thing about basketball is the team gets better as the year goes along. One thing I agree with Coach Musk, we got a lot of guys who can go one-on-one and create their own shot, and they're pretty special at it. It reminds me of Baylor last year. They had a lot of guys who could do that too, but one thing they did do was share the basketball and defend it at a high level. So, if we can figure that out, a way to, we got guys who we got 3 or 4 or 5 guys who can create their own shot, and we know that. But if we can figure out a way, and I think he mentioned shot selection, but if we can figure that out, and guys that they can figure out how to play together and gel. I think there'll be some growing pains early, but, we're going to be really good. We're going to be hard to beat, and I think this is going to be a year that we make another run. Anyway, I'll hang up and listen.
Charlie, it's a good call. It's good sentiment, too. And, and I wasn't there watching the red-white game, but judging from Muss's post-game comments, Chris doesn't apparently know the offense very well yet and is going to need to pick up on that.
It was kind of noticeable. You could kind of tell that he seemed out of place, that he seemed, not that he didn't know what he was doing, but was a little hesitant with his movements because he was trying to, I guess, figure out where he was supposed to be and as the point guard, where everybody else was supposed to be, more importantly.
J.D. Note, has the reputation of being a shoot-first mentality. Sometimes it's really good with JT, sometimes not so much. But you do have I think there's a lot of players on this team that have the ability to score. You're going to need to utilize their other teammates in order to do that. And, last year's team is not this year's team. Last year's team, there was a lot of great they meshed, great teamwork, and you saw that when they really did start to gel from the middle of January on, but it did take a minute to get there. All right, we got to step aside. We're talking with Connor O'Gara from Saturday Down South. Back into college football next on Halftime. Halftime is brought to you by Crabtree RV Center. 4 generations making your family dreams come true.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? So it's about time for an oil change? We've got what you need. Right now, you can get 5 quarts of Mobil 1 full synthetic or synthetic high mileage motor oil and an STP extended life oil filter for just $36.99. And you can get it all fast, your way. Just order online with our free same-day store pickup or next-day delivery.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Start your job today at AutoZone.com. Restrictions apply.
The Game Day Lodge in Branson is the perfect place for corporate retreats, golf trips, and team building activities. You'll find 10 bedrooms with 19 beds for up to 28 guests, 9 bathrooms, 17 TVs, poker table, 2 kitchens, 2 laundry rooms, a fire pit, 2 gas grills, outdoor basketball court, a heated indoor swimming pool nearby, and a 10-minute drive to Silver Dollar City. Not to mention near some of the best golf courses. Just search Game Day Lodge on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Airbnb, and VRBO.
Are you in need of roofing repairs or maybe more? Construction Master Roofing, who has been under new management since 2019 with over 25 years of experience, is who you need to call. Estimates are free, and military, first responders, and medical workers receive 5% off. Construction Master Roofing guarantees their work, and the number you need to call is 648-8888 in the River Valley, and in Oklahoma, call 918-859-4714. Construction Master Roofing, the roofing company that cares and gets the job done.
Riley Farm Dental at the entrance to Riley Farms provides every type of dental care and procedures for you and your family. From general dentistry, braces, implants, and cosmetics, Dr. Bo Sparkman and Dr. Brogan give all of their patients better lives with a better smile, more confidence, and a comfortable experience every time. Riley Farm Dental, 5901 Riley Park Drive, Suite A, at the entrance to Riley Farms. Call 226-3500 for an appointment or visit RileyFarmDental.com.
Farm Credit has been a trusted friend for over 100 years. They are ag financing experts. So whether you're a longtime farmer, new to farming, or buying your dream home or land in the country, their experienced staff has a plan to fit your goals, needs, and your bottom line. From farms to land, livestock, equipment, and more, Farm Credit finances it all. Learn more at myaglender.com. Farm Credit is an equal opportunity lender.
TGI Fridays is the best place in Fort Smith for food, fun, and football. Your locally owned TGI Fridays in Fort Smith has your favorite beers on tap. And Thursday through Sunday for bar football, all drafts are just $2. Fridays is the best place to watch football with plenty of TVs so you won't miss a second of the action while enjoying famous Fridays appetizers like the loaded potato skins or Friday's signature whiskey glazed sliders. It's food, fun, and football with $2 drafts Thursday through Sunday at your locally owned TGI Fridays at I-540 and Rogers in Fort Smith.
The Fence Man, the company you can trust when it comes to building quality fencing and gates, is looking for quality people to join the Fence Man team. If you're a fence builder or have building experience, apply in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man offers great pay, health, dental, and vision benefits, plus a $500 sign-on bonus. Join the top fence building team and get a $500 sign-on bonus. The Fence Man. Apply in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man is an equal opportunity employer.
Let Carco Car Sales, formerly Hertz Car Sales, show you how easy it is to buy a quality used car. Carco Auto Sales has been serving the River Valley in eastern Oklahoma for over 40 years and believe in fair prices, superior service, and treating people right. The friendly and knowledgeable staff is here to help you find the car you deserve, priced right to fit your budget, so you can leave with a peace of mind knowing that you are getting a quality, well-maintained vehicle. Come see the team at Carco Auto Sales, formerly Hertz Car Sales, at 2810 Midland Boulevard today. Give them a call at 783-1722 or check them out at buyfromcarco.com. Carco Auto Sales, when you're ready.
This is ESPN 95.3. Halftime today is brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings in Fort Smith, Conway, Little Rock, Sherwood, and Jonesboro. Buffalo Wild Wings.
Roar! This speech is my recital. I think it's very vital to rock around. That's right. On time. It's tricky. Here we go. It's tricky to rock around. To rock around. That's right. On time. It's tricky. It's tricky. 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 It's tricky to rock around. To rock around. That's right. On time. It's tricky. Tricky. I met this little
Make sure to follow Halftime on Twitter at HitThatLineAR and on Facebook and Instagram at HitThatLine. Follow the guys on Twitter at Phil Elson PXP, at Matt Travis, and at DBarrett36. Now, back to the guys. Here's Phil Elson, Matty T, and Drew Barrett.
We look forward to our conversations with Connor O'Gara national columnist from Saturday Down South. He's with us right now, get into SEC football. Connor, what's going on? How are you?
Guys, doing well. I am not reeling, unlike the program that you all cover and watch and root for so dearly. I am not reeling in that sort of way, but I can imagine the vibes in Fayetteville, in the entire state of Arkansas, could be better.
You almost sound funereal describing what's going on here with this team right now. And people are a little bummed out, especially after a 4-0 start. But, I mean, remember, Connor kind of saw this coming. Mm-hmm. Connor saw this coming. He picked them to go 4-0, and I think in your preseason choices, you picked them to lose the next 3, so you've been right on, Connor. Can you tell me, as you've watched Arkansas for these first 7 games, what it is you like most about this team and what it is you like least about this team?
Well, I appreciate you giving me that love. Not to pat myself on the back too hard, but I had the first. That means a lot. That really does. The first 6 games I had called, and then the 7th one I did not have. I had them beating Auburn in the preseason, so I'll take the L on that. But at the same time, you look at why they lost that game. It's the defense not being able to adjust without Jalen Catalon. I thought was the key in that game. You see Bo Nix take some chances downfield. He wasn't afraid to throw downfield. If Jalen Catalon's out there, I don't know that that's the case. And even stepping into some of those throws, if you have Jalen Catalon in the box, if he's coming off the edge, something like that could also change the way that Bo Nix was able to settle into that game. And he looked very comfortable. And you're hoping that after the defensive performance against Ole Miss, that this defense was going to come out with its hair on fire. And they did things better, but I still thought that there was a lot of mistakes made. And you see even, Miles Slusher biting on the fake on that first drive, and that's a touchdown. And, this is a team that just has to be able to find ways to win close games. And that's, one of the things I was kind of worried about with the way that it played out against Texas A&M and the way that it played out against Texas. Arkansas controlled those entire games, and it really wasn't back and forth, and they dominated that. So how are you making plays? How are you executing in the fourth quarter of these games? They let that one slip away, I thought, and I thought it was very winnable.
Yeah, it certainly seemed to be winnable, but now they get a couple of weeks to hopefully get healthy. Of course, Catalon's not coming back right now, so he might 2023, or 2022 is what Coach Pittman said, and we'll see what happens when that comes around. So just kind of another regular weekend in the SEC, right, Connor? And we got stuff being thrown by fans. Nick Saban's got a giant bruise on his arm. Ed Orgeron, a national championship winning coach, is out, but will finish the season as their head coach. And I think that's the right move by LSU to keep Orgeron around so that there's not a repeat of what happened the previous time they made a change midseason and had an interim coach that got momentum, players got behind him, and they ended up hiring him. I don't think they want to hire an interim head coach, nor does Scott Woodward need to feel that sort of pressure. So to me, although it's a little weird that Orgeron is going to stick around, it does make sense.
Let me try this one on. How about Ed Orgeron is the interim coach right now?
Yeah.
He gets enough momentum. Scott Woodward does a 180, says, you know what, we're going to bring you back here. We're not going to pay you that $17 million buyout. You're going to continue to do your job. Jokes aside, I think there is really a part of him that's like, hey, you know what? We've actually kind of seen him in a role that's not quite this because he was trying to get the job, and here it's a little bit different. But I do think there's a part of Scott Woodward that just kind of wants to hold this thing together and not let it completely fall by the wayside, which easily could with the competition that they have coming up. So it's weird, it's strange, and a lot of people are kind of wondering, why would he sign up to do something like this? What else is he going to do? What else is Orgeron going to do right now? Because it's not like he's got another job lined up and ready to go and compete mid-season for it. So I kind of get it from that standpoint. It's weird. It's strange. We expect Scott Woodward to go out and make a big-time hire. I've been saying all week the guy makes bigger splashes than Ham Porter from Sandlot, all right? Like, that's what we're talking about here. Nice. He's going to go out. Maybe it's Lane Kiffin. Maybe it's Jimbo Fisher. Probably not Jimbo Fisher, actually. Let's take that one off the record. But he's going to go out and make a big splash. That's what he's going to do. So right now you're just hoping, if you're an LSU fan, that things don't go from bad to worse and your program doesn't look like a dumpster fire in the latter half of the season.
With the coaching search that's ultimately coming up and that they're doing their due diligence right now, how much does everything else going on at LSU affect their coaching search? Have they reached the point where, screw it, we're going to do everything wrong because we pretty much have up to this point. We'll go out and get anybody who we think will win on Saturday at any cost. Or are they looking for a guy that has a stable background, has a background of not getting in trouble, of doing everything the clean and right way to kind of try to right the ship?
So would they hire Lane Kiffin or would they not hire Lane Kiffin?
Pretty much, yes. That was the question there.
Yeah, I think they would hire Lane Kiffin. I absolutely do. And look, contrary to what Michael Wilbon said, I don't think that Lane Kiffin has brought negative attention to every program that he's been at. And I would argue there are a lot of Ole Miss fans that if he were to leave after year 2, they would be devastated, and that would forever be the one that got away. But, let's think about the leverage that Scott Woodward would have in this situation. He wants to be able to make a big-time hire. He is the LSU graduate, the Baton Rouge native. This is a guy who has grown up dreaming about having this opportunity to take a big swing to hire the LSU football coach. That's why I don't think Billy Napier is coming there. Billy Napier is a great football coach, but is he somebody that really moves the needle in the way that Scott Woodward has typically moved the needle? It's not just Jimbo Fisher to A&M. It's Chris Peterson poaching him from Boise State to join him at Washington. It's making these big-time hires that make you say, wow, that program is not messing around. I think they go after somebody like Lane Kiffin. It would not surprise me at all. State of Mississippi, you can't have a contract that runs longer than 4 years. Scott Woodward can come over the top and essentially double what Lane Kiffin is currently making right now and say, hey, come on board for 10 years. So I think that we're in line for a very big-time splashy hire from LSU.
Well, he's already done that in the 2 hires that have gotten some publicity at LSU. I mean, he hires Kim Mulkey and gets Jay Johnson, the Arizona head baseball coach, and he's now at LSU after taking Arizona to the College World Series. So, I mean, those 2 pretty big names that he got there, and now he's got the whole spotlight on him with this football search.
And it's one that I think he is going to make sure that he exhausts every resource possible. And there's going to be no shortage of momentum. I know maybe some people looked at that buyout from Ed Orgeron and said, wow, $17 million, they're paying him to walk away. Maybe they'll go the cheap way out with a football coach. No way. They are not going to hold back. They're going to break the bank to hire their next football coach.
Oh, they definitely will. They'll find the money. They've got plenty of money down there in Baton Rouge, and they'll find it to pay the Edo and put a very, very nice offer on the table. How come nobody's talking about the team that LSU beat? And the fact of the matter is that Dan Mullen lost to Ed Orgeron, and at the time where Florida was ranked in the top 20. And how much longer is Dan Mullen time in Gainesville going to last? Because it doesn't seem like it's gone too well.
Oh, guys, I can promise you plenty of people are talking about it, especially in my neck of the woods here. There are a lot of upset Florida fans, and rightfully so, because it's not just the fact that he has now lost 3 consecutive games to LSU, 2 of which were to historically bad LSU teams. It's the fact that he is now 2-6 in his last 8 games against Power 5 competition. That's not going to cut it. They are seriously wondering what the long-term future is for Dan Mullen, because he got this extension in the offseason to be one of the 5 highest-paid coaches in the sport, but his buyout's only $12 million. And in this day and age, that's really not a whole lot. Will Muschamp got more than that. South Carolina ain't Florida, all right? It's just not. And Florida could absolutely afford to do something like that. So I don't know. It depends how the rest of the season goes, but it's baffling to see the way this has played out. The guy that he put all of his faith in on the defensive side, Todd Grantham, has been a disappointment this year. Florida fans are ready to be done with him. They're ready to be done with pretending Emory Jones is better than Anthony Richardson. There are a lot of upset Florida fans right now, and they're going to be more upset if they get smoked by Georgia in a couple weeks in Jacksonville.
Staying in the state of Florida, is there anybody that's actually pleased with the job their coach has done? I mean, Mike Norvell hasn't had the best year in year number 2 at Florida State. Manny Diaz is Miamiing it up, and I don't think anybody expected Gus Malzahn to get blown out to Cincy like they did. I mean, is any fan base in Florida actually happy and content with their head coach right now?
Probably not, but I think if there's a coach who's getting the most leniency, it's Gus Malzahn, because he's had injuries galore. I mean, they lost Dylan Gabriel. That was really, really big. And Cincinnati was always going to be better than them coming into the year, but I think if there's somebody who's kind of been given a little bit of a pass, it's him. They've just had some really, really bad injury luck, whereas you look at the other programs in the state, and it's been embarrassing. I mean, Manny Diaz looks like he's on the way out at Miami, a guy who, coming into the year, you're wondering, man, could they be a sneaky team and maybe get to a New Year's Six Bowl? Derek King is back healthy, and that has just not played out. And, yeah, I mean, the Mike Norvell experiment has not exactly gone according to plan, but who knows? I think they'll still be a little bit more patient. They don't want to be the program who fires a coach after year 2 again. I think that teams would like to avoid that. Mississippi State would probably like to avoid that with Mike Leach as well. Things get a lot easier for him if he can just clinch a bowl berth or something like that. So, yeah, I mean, but there's no shortage of upset fans in Sunshine State right now.
Connor, we'll let you go with that, man. Appreciate you coming on as always. It's fun talking with you, and we'll look forward to it next week.
Sounds good. Appreciate it, guys.
You got Thanks, Connor O'Gara from Saturday Down South. Give him a follow on Twitter at CJ O'Gara, SaturdayDownSouth.com, the website. And I always have, Saturday Down South has the reputation of being an aggregator of stories, but they do have good columnists, really good columnists.
Oh, really good stories.
Give you good thoughts on what's going on in the SEC. Connor right there at the top of the list. All right, we're going to close up shop after the break. 877-377-6963 for your calls, your texts, or your comments, and we will be right back.
Archery season is underway, and black powder season is just a few days away. Jelco Outdoors has a great selection of muzzleloaders and hunting accessories for this year's primetime hunt. It's time to get all your gear for deer season, and Jelco Outdoors is ready to help you get ready for a great time in the deer woods. Shop local. Shop Jelco Outdoors. And remember, a great hunt begins at Jelco Outdoors, 4600 South Zero in Fort Smith.
When you've escaped the screens and the sun bathes everything in a golden glow, and your friend hands you a cold organic beer that tastes as perfect as nature itself, that's pure gold. Michelob Ultra Pure Gold, the first national USDA certified organic beer. Organic by nature. Enjoy responsibly. 2020 Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Pure Gold, St. Louis, Missouri.
At Frank Rowe Furniture for the month of October, no sales tax and free delivery. You heard it right, no sales tax and free delivery. Frank Rowe Furniture offers made-in-the-USA products and service after the sale. Remember, no sales tax and free delivery in October at Frank Rowe Furniture. Frank Rowe Furniture, 405 4th Street, Barling, Arkansas. Best seats in the house. Appliance excluded in sale and delivery must be within a 50-mile range.
Hi folks, Scary Larry Rath here for Rath Auto Resources. Great used cars are so hard to find it's terrifying. Most dealers' lots look like a ghost town. Not ours. We're loaded up with premium pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs you've been looking for, and they're all Rath Road ready. Hand-picked and reconditioned in our own Meineke Car Care Center. Plus, our live market value pricing takes all the terror out of getting a great deal, with savings as much as $4,000 below retail. Are you haunted by past credit problems? Our For the People credit approval process is ghoulishly good at getting you approved. If you're keeping the car you have, let us take care of it for you in our Meineke Car Care Center with half-off brakes, buy 3, get 1 free on all tires, and a free winter-ready inspection. Better yet, let your old ride rust in peace. Trade it in and start driving better today. It's all treats and no tricks till the stroke of midnight on Halloween at Arkansas's favorite used car dealer, Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, 4515 Towson Avenue, Fort Smith, or online, rathauto.com.
Requires bank approval. Negative equity may be refinanced.
Did you invest in real estate only to find out that real estate takes up too much of your time? If you answered yes, then it's time to make a call to the experts. With more than 30 years of combined property management experience and more than 16,000 units managed, Trinity Multifamily are the ones to call. Get your life back. Call Trinity Multifamily at 479-452-1817 or online at trinitymultifamily.com. Trinity Multifamily, your teammate in the real estate game.
stopped-up kitchen sink, a slow-draining shower, toilets that won't flush? All of these can be a nightmare. This is Emily with Mr. Rooter Plumbing in Fort Smith. Did you know that our staff does video camera inspection? This ensures that these headaches are fixed, giving you peace of mind. When you need plumbing, call Mr. Rooter in Fort Smith or book online at mrrooter.com. We're your neighborly company.
There are lots of options when it comes to maintenance and repair on your vehicle. Choose the right one. Choose Phoenix Avenue Tire. Maintain and extend the life of your vehicle with oil changes, brakes, batteries, radiators, shocks, struts, alignments. They do it all with Phoenix Avenue Tire. Starters, belts and hoses, steering and suspension. Phoenix Avenue Tire will treat your car or truck like the major investment it is. And do it right the first time. Phoenix Avenue Tire, 1701 Phoenix Avenue, right by the tracks.
This is ESPN 95.3.
Hey, Surrey!
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson, Matty T, and Drew Barrett. The Morning Rush, Halftime, Ruskin and Zach, Hog Reaction, Coffee with Counsel, Huddle Up, and Fantasy Football Sunday. All available on the Hit That Line podcast network. Just type Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. Our podcasts are on iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, hitthatline.com, Anchor, TuneIn, Stitcher, and Google Play. Brought to you by Breeden RV Center.
With the baseball playoffs in action, both leagues have their championship series going on today, and it's just really odd. I mean, you got a Braves-Dodgers game that starts at a little after 5 o'clock Eastern time. That's 2 o'clock in the afternoon in Los Angeles for a Tuesday playoff game. And seats are still available because of the timing. It's very odd. The Red Sox
got
to
take
play
care of the East Coast,
at
right?
night.
I mean, I'm not waiting around for a 9 o'clock first pitch for those LAers. They moved out there. They knew what they were getting into.
Well,
I'm not very sympathetic. Everybody should be in the Central Time Zone. This is the perfect time zone.
How many grand slams you got the Red Sox hitting tonight? It's kind of nuts.
I'm going to say over under 2.5.
We're going to call them the Boston Slam Sox now. Remember when Slam Diego was a thing last year? And it's not really going on right now, but Kyle Schwarber is the man.
We'd have to call them the Grand
Slam.
Slam
Nothing to
Sox.
Schwarber. He kicks and he delivers. Swing. There's a long drive to right field. Deep toward the grandstand. Tucker looking up. It is gone into the grandstand. Grand slam, Kyle Schwarber. 6-0 Red Sox. Can you believe it?
So it isn't even just the grand slams, Drew. They've also hit 20 home runs in 8 postseason games. Nuts. And it's coming all throughout that lineup. I mean, Kike Hernandez cannot make an out. Mm-hmm. And this team right now looks like they might, I don't know to say unbeatable, but Houston's really good. Tampa's really good. The Yankees were okay-ish. Nobody can stop this Boston lineup at all. At all. All right, we got Robert in Fort Smith on hold here. Robert, you Dodgers able to I think the Dodgers can turn things around being home in L.A., not in Atlanta. What do you think?
We've done it before. We did it last year. We were in Dallas. It's just we've got to get Riley and that bunch out of Atlanta for a night and get them out of there, and let's get back to L.A. for a little bit and settle that down and those bats down of Atlanta, and I think we'll be fine. Now, yes, we'll have to go back to Atlanta, but we just got to get them off their streak because they've been winning now. They weren't that good, and y'all know they weren't. They just had a real good little series, and we got to be able to settle it down. And I think we'll be okay, but y'all have a good one, guys.
You got it. Well, I mean, the
Thanks,
Braves
Robert.
were kind of like the Cardinals there for a while. I mean, they were
Kind of
mediocre.
hanging around, and then made their move there at the end. But, I mean, they didn't really have to make their move at the end because they play in a bad division. They had it pretty much wrapped up, but they're just kind of moseying around as far as all of Major League Baseball, just kind of in the middle of the pack. But they've been able to turn on the switch when they need to, right? Nobody cares what you did in July. It's what you do in August.
I care if you go to Joe's Grilling Cantina today because it's Tuesday. You know what that means on a Tuesday?
It's Taco Tuesday!
That's exactly right, LeBron. It's Taco Tuesday, and you got tacos that are just $1 all day long at Joe's Grilling Cantina in Fort Smith. The crispy beef or chicken tacos, $1. The pork carnita tacos are $2.25. The brisket and pork belly tacos, $3.25 all day long. Music on the patio tonight. Be a great place to watch the Razorbacks play against Pine Bluff on Saturday. And there's Joe's Grilling Cantina in Fort Smith. Go to joesfortsmith.com, their website. They're right across from Harps in Fort Smith. So it's Charlie Morton for the Braves, Walker Buehler for the Dodgers. Buehler's able to, go a little longer maybe because he's not one of these starters that have been pitching in relief for LA. And
he's got a live arm. It's not dead.
He really does have a live arm. I'm a big fan of Walker Buehler, but the Astros, remember, they're without Lance McCullers Jr., and they're putting Zach Greinke on the mound today against Nick Pivetta.
Yeah.
And Greinke's had an interesting career. He's been a good postseason pitcher, not great. But this is, this has been a season where he's lost his spot in the rotation at the end of the season. He worked in relief earlier in the playoffs for the Astros, but they need him desperately right now. Need him desperately to go out there and do
especially for how much they paid him.
His Zach Greinke thing. He wasn't terrible this year, really. He wasn't.
No, but he's not the Zach Greinke that you paid for and that you were planning on having for the future.
Forget what his contract status is, but a guy that's 37 years old still is able to get out there and throw the occasional.
Really?
He's 37 years old.
God, I always thought he was younger than that.
Well, he was drafted out of high school and got to the big leagues pretty quickly.
Man, he has been around for a long time then, hasn't he?
I think he was 19 or just turned 20 by the time he had his major league debut.
See, when I picture him, he just looks so baby-faced.
Still has that look.
Yeah, that he looks young.
Good luck looking baby-faced at age 37. There's not too many people that can pull that off. Nor are there too many people that can throw 94 miles an hour and then a pitch that's 55 miles an hour. He can do that.
Yeah, he can.
All right, so enjoy the baseball playoffs. We'll be digging into more Arkansas football tomorrow. Bill King, Clay Henry will be on the show with us tomorrow for a Wednesday edition of Halftime. All right, we'll also try to find you some more fun football-ish terms from Urban Dictionary like we did for you in the first hour. So, yeah, make sure you listen to the Halftime Eastside Liquor podcast.
Caution, though.
Have some fun with that stuff. For Drew, for Maddie, I'm Phil. Get up, get out, get better.